Kemalai. Um, Hi. Um, I'm waiting for a few people to join, and then we're gonna start. Um, Hi everyone. Mm, Okay, so we only have 30 minutes, so I think we're gonna start right now, and I'm gonna add um, the host, the guest, sorry. Um, okay. Hi.
Hey,
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. So yeah, thank you so much for agreeing to do this.
No worries at all. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Mhm. All right. So I think you're good to start right now, right?
Yes, I'm good to start. I'm so sorry. I'm tight on time simply because I've got some more filming to do after.
Yeah, I remember you said that. Okay, cool. So we're gonna start right now, and so I'm gonna just do a little bit of introduction. So
Sounds
our guest is called Hosanna. Correct me if I'm pronouncing your name wrongly,
no, it's okay.
but she's someone that I would say has really inspired me to be vocal in matters technology and basically put myself out there and yeah, champion for things that I'm passionate about. So thank you so much for agreeing to do this. I'm so glad you accepted to do that. So yeah, I'm gonna let you introduce yourself.
Mhm.
Just like tell us about what you do. Yeah, and then we're gonna start from there.
Sure. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone across across the world. I'm Hosanna. So, I am the founder of the Tech Corner. So, I run a page where I inspire, I guess, and educate people about starting their career in tech. Outside of that, I'm currently working as an Azure specialist at Microsoft, so working in the cloud computing space, but super excited about kind of women being in tech and encouraging as many people, especially minorities, to kind of come into the tech space. So, and excited to be here, really. So, thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much. So, talking about what you do, I would like us to go just back a little bit.
Mhm.
Do you think that you looking back, you would have seen yourself at this point in life, like having a career in tech? So, like basically, how did you stumble upon like careers in technology or something like that?
Yeah, no, I did not see myself going into tech. I didn't even plan to go into tech. So, just a little bit of a background. I have an undergraduate degree in business. So, my
Mm-hmm.
plan was to do a master's degree in finance and then go be a financial consultant. So, that was kind of always my plan when I was kind of in school and younger. So, my plan was to be in finance. But then when I finished my undergraduate degree, I
Yeah.
decided that I wanted to try something new, just explore different areas, and I had the opportunity to do a conversion master's degree. So it meant that I could do a master's degree in the School of Computer Science without kind of
Uh-huh.
having a background in tech. So I had never coded, I hadn't even done IT or anything like that. I just thought
Mm-hmm.
tech sounded exciting, it was new, it seemed like there was a lot of opportunity, jobs, money in it. So that's when I decided to move over to tech. And then, yeah, that was my first step into tech. And then obviously I started working at Microsoft when I finished university. So that was me. I didn't think I would be, but here I am.
Yeah, so how was the transition for you, like not having a tech background during undergrad and getting to pursue it for your master's? How did you find that? Was it a big transition or something like that?
Yeah, I definitely would say it was a big transition because obviously, having to learn to program is a new skill that you have to pick up. And if you've never done it before, it's always going to be a learning curve. Some people pick it up straight away and they find it pretty easy, especially if they've got kind of a analytical and mathematical background, but I didn't. So I did find it challenging, but I think just like
Yeah.
anything, if you put your mind into it and your heart, and if you're passionate, then you can definitely do it.
Mhm. So, talking about education, do you think that choosing to take, of course, choosing to take a master's in like a tech-related field
Mm-hmm.
has played a very big role
Mm-hmm.
in like your progress so far? I
Yeah,
mean, people say, yeah, people say education in tech is not so important,
mhm.
but what do you have to say?
I think it's definitely quite important. I think
Uh-huh.
tech is changing, and you can get into tech without a degree, but I would say that it's not changing enough, not yet. I think people who leave university with a computer science degree are going to find it easier to find a role, especially in some of the bigger tech firms. For them, unfortunately, that's an expectation for some of the roles. But yeah, it's true that you definitely don't always need one, and people get into tech. There's different ways that you can get in. You can kind of do boot camps, you can self-teach, you can use a non-technical degree. So if you have a different degree, like a business degree, I work with people with business degrees and stuff like that. However, yeah, I would say for me personally, education made a huge difference. It was definitely a opening door for me getting into tech.
All right. So, and then, well, when it comes to education, we know that every other day, especially in a career like in technology,
Mhm.
I'm not sure if you could, as an, you know, I don't know much about what to do as an Azure specialist. I think you'll have to tell us about that because that's a whole other field.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what I know is that as a software engineer, you have to keep learning these new technologies and all that. Is
Mhm.
it the same thing for you?
Yeah,
In your
so
field?
I don't have to code day to day for work. That's not part of my role, but I have to specialize in the technology. So if you imagine that I have a product, which is obviously Azure, which is cloud computing, and then I just need to specialize in everything about that, you know, how it's set up, the services that's provided, yeah, just basically all the technical elements of it. So yes, there's always learning because services always change, especially working for a large company because they're always updating the product, they're always changing it, adding new things, and it's so broad that sometimes, yeah, it's like you have to keep learning. You know, we've got supercomputers coming out, artificial intelligence, just so
Yeah.
many things. So yeah, it's definitely one of those. It's a key. If you love learning, then you'll love being in tech.
All right. Okay, cool. So now I want us to talk about your experience after your master's,
Mhm.
which is basically now like thinking about jobs and
Mhm.
applying for jobs.
Mhm.
How was the process like for you? Did you like go through a lot of interviews? How did you prepare for like the job market?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, the process, yeah, was, I think, quite difficult. I think tech companies are notorious for making people jump through a number of hoops in order for you to kind of get the job. You know, if you're lucky,
Yeah.
you might get maybe 2 interviews. You might get a hiring manager interview and a kind of coding interview if you're going into software engineering. But for other places, for me, I had 8 steps for my interviews. So yeah, so I think it was 3 interviews, online testing, online form, like presentation,
That's a lot.
so teamwork. There were so many
Mm-hmm.
things. There was this,
Mm-hmm. Sorry, can't hear you.
yeah, it was a lot. But yeah, I think that's just what tech is like at the moment. They do make you go through a lot of steps. I think it's because it's quite competitive and it's like a number of
Yeah.
skills which they're trying to find. But yeah, it
Mhm.
was enjoyable, but I would say it's definitely not an easy process.
So how would you say you prepared for your interviews? Like how did you get ready for that?
So yeah, I did. I would say I lived and breathed Microsoft for my interview. I kind of knew the company really well, so knowing, you know, all this, what they're planning to do in the future, the challenges, what we're trying to achieve. I
Mm-hmm.
tried to get a good understanding of the role which I'd be going into, what the skills that they'd be expecting me to have, and then because I was going in as a grad, I didn't need to know
Yeah.
too much about the technology because Microsoft hires on potential. I did need to know some. You need to have to understand. That's what my presentation was on Azure
Mm-hmm.
and my understanding of it. But I just really just, I don't think there's a magic pill. You have to put in the work. I was studying, like I was studying for an exam, preparing for it. So
Yeah.
doing all my practice kind of exams online, using all the websites, keeping up with tech trends. I was even practicing, even though I didn't have a coding interview, I was still practicing like binaries, like things like that, just in case something came up. I was like, I need to be prepared. I'm just not going to
Yeah.
like whiteboarding and things like that. So yeah, just really trying to understand what they'd be looking for, what skills they'd be testing, and yeah, writing everything down. I have a YouTube video on it actually on my channel. So if you click the link on my bio, it'll take you straight to that exact how I prepared for my Microsoft interview video.
Okay. Oh, okay, perfect. So would you say that going into the interview process, you knew the company that you wanted and that's what you went for? Or did you apply to other companies as well?
Yeah, I applied to other companies as well. I would say I definitely applied for the big ones. I started off with the name brands, and then kind of that was the one that was offered to me first. So I went for that one. So it wasn't like I was like, oh, I definitely want Microsoft and that's the only one that I'm going for. You got to play the numbers game a bit and kind of just try where you're gonna get to.
Yeah, okay, that's true. Okay, so now after like getting your job, I want to talk about your experience now, like working in tech. So how did you find the corporate world working as a woman in technology? I know people have different experiences, so I want to know
Yeah,
about
yeah,
you.
definitely. I think it can. I love working in the corporate world. I find it really enjoyable. There are definitely some good aspects to it, you know, I love being in the office. I love getting to travel for work. I love working with my team and stuff. But specifically, I would say as a woman and as a Black woman as well, I think we definitely have different experiences to other people. I think you're definitely going to go through different challenges because of the way the world perceives you, really. You know, there's going to be
Yeah,
microaggressions. You're really going to have to fight to prove that you are, you know, capable sometimes. You're going to feel lonely, I would say, because tech is majority white male. And that is very true. I think people don't realize how true it is. I would say I spend probably 95% of my time
yeah,
with white men, and not even a mix of other races either. So that's something that you kind of have to take into consideration. And yeah, it's just one of those things where you have to kind of prepare yourself that, you know, you may not have allies everywhere you go, and people are going to perceive you a certain way, and you really just have to be confident in yourself and the value that you bring.
Okay, so how have you gone through this? Are there supportive systems that you have in place that work for you? Because it can be quite challenging working as a woman in tech. So like, what do you do when you
I,
have those moments whereby you're like, yeah, this is so hard, you know?
yeah, definitely. So I think the main thing for me, the main thing that's been really important has been kind of having allies and having people who, you know, have my back and they understand my experience. And I guess some people would call it safe spaces, having people who understand your experience, they know what you've been going through, and they'd be able to support you in the right way. And Microsoft is really good because we have employee resource groups. So that's just groups for people who are part of a specific group. So women in tech, BAME, which is Black, Asian, minority, ethnic groups. So you can create a group for you. There's, you know, Gleam, which goes through people's sexuality and their sexual orientation and things like that. So having those groups, I think, has been really helpful because you can go and kind of vent or rant to people about what you're going through, and that always makes you feel better. And also you can kind of have people just tell you how to deal with it as well. You learn new things. So for me, that's been really helpful, just having groups around me and a supportive system.
Awesome. Okay, so going forward, now this is like going forward, like where do you see yourself like progress, like when it comes to progressing career-wise, like in the next few years, do you see yourself still working as an Azure specialist?
That is such an interesting question. I feel like I get that question a lot, but I think the interesting thing about tech is I just have no idea because there are roles that are coming that just don't exist yet. So I'm not very fit into kind of like, I want to become, you know, some people want to go into management, some people want to specialize more. I don't know. I would just go for the area that's most interesting to me. So I would say kind of data and artificial intelligence is quite interesting. So I may go in there. I definitely haven't ruled out software engineering, so I might go and kind of think about doing that. Just different things like that. I'm not sure. So I'm keeping my options open, and hopefully there'll be some exciting roles for me coming up in the future.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the good thing about tech. There is such a wide, like, there's a lot of things that you can explore. So, yeah, that's the good thing about it. Okay, so now I want to talk about the tech corner. I know this is something else that you do and that you're really passionate about. So, like, how did it come to start? Like, when did you actually think about, like, okay, well, I'm gonna do this?
Yeah, so it's when I started kind of working in tech, I was kind of always passionate about getting women in tech. And at work, I would kind of do events, I would speak to people, I would go to schools, I would be on panels and things like that. And I was getting a lot of questions, obviously, people, giving me questions on the day, on LinkedIn, finding me and just sending me loads of questions about how to get into tech and asking for my advice. And then one day I remember I was just like, why don't I just start a platform, right? Because I might as well, because I'm getting these questions, and if I can give the information out there, I can reach more people. And then hopefully I can help more people along the way as well, rather than kind of going one-to-one. When I was kind of saying, and I would be saying the same thing again and again, I'd be, oh, you need to do this, and kind of coaching people one-to-one. So I thought, yeah, why don't I just put a platform together, and maybe then I can help way more people, and just reach more people. And that's, I've been more just passionate about it ever since.
And how would you say that, how has the experience been for you so far? Like,
it's been great. I absolutely love it. It's been fantastic because I've got to meet some amazing people, like the two of us now, this meeting just on social media, and a lot of people being abroad, which has been amazing. I've spoken to people from like literally all different parts of the world, which has just been absolutely incredible. So that's been great, and nothing is better than when I get a message from someone saying, they've gotten a job because of the help that I've given them, and they've gotten their apprenticeship or their internship and things like that. So that's just been absolutely amazing. There's no better feeling, and other parts, it's obviously opened up other opportunities for me. It's helped me create a personal brand. People are more aware of who I am and stuff like that. So it's just been amazing. It's challenging, and as I'm sure you can appreciate, handling work and kind of it's always a job in itself, but it's been really amazing.
I was gonna ask about that. I mean, it can get so challenging, like especially now that you've said you're gonna have to film something after this. So like it can get so challenging, especially when you have a full-time job. So how do you have burnout? Do you get days when you're like, I'm so tired, I can't do this?
Absolutely. Like even just though I think about 4 weeks ago, if you have me on Instagram and you're watching, you would have seen me put a post to say I'm off for this week because I'm busy with work and things like that. I think you have to balance the things that you need to prioritize, because at the end of the day, your job is your job. You've got to deliver, you've got to make money. That's always going to have to kind of take a priority. So there are days where I'm literally like, oh, I can't. So I take a step back, and your mental health is important as well. So you need to feel free to kind of manage that.
Awesome. I love that you have said that when you are tired and you're like, I need a break, and it's okay to take that break. I think, all right. So another thing that I wanted us to talk about, basically, what would you tell like someone that is thinking about joining tech? I know you make a lot of content telling people that there is, of course, tech is so wide, and you don't really have to code or be a software engineer to be in tech. I mean, most people have this assumption that you have to be such a nerd, you have to be, you have to code all the time. But surprisingly, there's a lot of things that you can do in tech that are not even like code related. So like, what would you like tell someone that is thinking about joining a tech career? Like, what do you tell them?
That's definitely probably what I would tell them. I would say to just keep an open mind, because I think people they pigeonhole a lot of the things that are in tech, because tech is new. People just kind of go online and they're like, this is the role. So they just think, okay, so because I'm a software engineer, I'll be doing this. And because I'm in tech, I'm going to have to code or have these skills or whatever. I would say keep an open mind. There are definitely loads of different roles. Yes, you can code if you want to. You can be a software engineer. You can be kind of a more on the front end, be a web developer. You can do so many different roles, or you can not code, right? And you can do non-coding jobs. And those non-coding jobs are also technical. So yeah, don't think just because you're not coding that means you're not tech. You are, and that's one thing that I think people also forget. If you wanted to get into tech, you have to be passionate about the technology. Of course, there are also jobs like HR and marketing and finance, because tech companies need to run just like any other company. So if you're looking for that as well, you can always go into it. So I think just having an open mind and remember and not be intimidated. I also think that people who are coming from a non-tech background, they only look for kind of non-coding, non-technical jobs because they're scared. They're like, oh, I need to look for a non-technical job because I don't think I can do it. You can. So just don't be afraid. Don't be intimidated. If you're passionate about it, then definitely think about going into it.
Awesome. Okay, so the last thing, what do you think going forward? What do you think is the future of the tech corner? Do you see it becoming something big? Do you see yourself like pursuing it more? Like, what do you see?
Yeah, that's a nice question. Yeah, I would love for it to continue to grow. I would love to get to a point where I'm working kind of one-to-one with clients at a bigger scale. And once I've got more time, who knows, maybe one day I'll go part-time for my normal job and then go part-time with a tech corner. I just want it to be kind of a community or kind of an academy to support people to go into tech and offer services. To hopefully offer like resume services, interview services, and just general career coaching as well. So yeah, I'm hoping for that to continue to grow. Let's just see, God willing, maybe there will be opportunity for me to get there.
I mean, I think looking back, I think you started this 1 year ago, right?
Yeah, just under a year ago. Yeah, not even a year yet.
Yeah, not even a year, and you've grown so much. So I think
Thank
going
you.
forward, you should be excited for what is to come.
Yes, fingers crossed.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think those are my questions. I'm not sure if anyone here has any questions for you.
Just looking. I didn't
If you have a
see
question,
any.
you can ask. Yeah. Otherwise, I think, yep.
Yeah, no, I didn't see a question, but I hope the session was useful anyway. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you so much for accepting to do this.
No
Yeah,
worries.
just keep being awesome, and yeah, I'm gonna keep rooting for you. So,
Thank
yep.
you so much. Thank
All
you.
right.
Bye,
All right,
guys.
thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Okay. All right, thank you guys. I'm gonna go now.